Edmonton Oilers 3, St. Louis Blues 1. Welcome back to the day after reaction with myself, Waz, and my good friend Dan. Dan, how we doing this morning?
Doing great, was.
Yeah. You weren't at the game, were you?
I wasn't at the game.
No, okay,
Crazy
we're just
enough, I wasn't.
confirming.
I didn't
Okay.
make my way down to the Scott Trade
No.
Center.
But how did you feel? General thoughts on this game against the St. Louis Blues?
Oh man, it's good to watch this Edmonton Oilers team.
Mm-hmm.
When this Edmonton Oilers team is firing and they are, I wrote it down. They're coming in waves. It feels like we're never down and out. Even when the St. Louis Blues were really pushing back in that second period and into the third, the Oilers, they just kept responding. They kept pushing, and Stuart Skinner, what can't you say about that guy?
Mm-hmm. And
Unbelievable start from
oh
the left.
yeah, without a doubt, he was easily my first star of that game. And I love Jack Michaels. Credit to him. He did mention during the broadcast, "Oh, you'd love to see more of these types of games against the Blues and the Oilers." Personally, not a fan. I'd rather not. I'd rather not play the Blues again. They're not fun to play against. They're fun. They're boring to watch. Nothing against the St. Louis Blues. I get it. It gets you results, but at the same time, it's not fun to watch.
Yeah.
So just my opinion. I love you, Jack, but that comment I was like, I don't know if I want to watch the Oilers versus Blues many times this year. So
Well, hey, Jack loves a good defensive battle, and
this is
so
true.
I get it. I
But
understand. It's a nice tight checking game, but yes, I agree with you, Was.
and prior to that comment he made, I was thinking like this game was like a real chess battle. That's what
Yes.
kind of felt like, really. So I mean, credit to the Oilers for finding a win against the Blues. It almost seemed like it's gonna go the Blues' way. They're gonna get one of those goals. But let's get to your first takeaway, Dan, from this game.
Well, my first takeaway is just that first period. For this team, for this Edmonton Oilers, this current iteration of the Edmonton Oilers, first periods and starts of games have been a real eyesore for the team. And so for them to come out against a good team, like you said, in St. Louis, and really just play their game and take their game to the St. Louis Blues for an entire period, it was fun to see, and that's a huge takeaway for this team going forward.
Yeah, it was nice to have the lead going into the second, and the Oilers just generally having a very strong first period. We haven't seen much of that this season, so very good from them. And your second takeaway.
My second takeaway is Stuart Skinner. When everybody saw that Stu announcement come up, I feel like there was a tinge of worry or a tinge of
Yeah.
concern. It's a little bit confusing to see your backup start against a team where you want to get that revenge. But I love Woodcroft's move in this situation, and of course it pays off. And so he looks like the genius. But yeah, Stuart Skinner, especially in that second and third period. That third period, he had some shots against him that were real tests, and he stood up to it. And the only goal that went in was one that was batted out of midair. So I mean, you can't fault Stuart Skinner on any of the game, and if anything, he kept that team in it when we were tied 1-1, and the Oilers win because of it.
No, I agree. And it's like when he got announced he was starting, I was like, I don't see no issue here. I think this is the coaching staff has full confidence in both goalies to play in any situation in the moment. I think they're very good. And Stuart Skinner proved that.
100%, and you don't see the issues with Skinner like we did with the Mikko Koskinens and the Mike Smiths of the world. The man, for being a young goalie in this league, he shows a ton of composure. And yeah, I mean, that's no joke in a team in St. Louis that's just the style that they play. You see your team only get 25 shots against them. Meanwhile, they're putting up 30 against you, and you've got to stand to it. So he did it, and that's a huge game to get out of your backup.
Third takeaway.
My third takeaway is not so great. The Oilers special teams, I think the PK needs some help.
Oh, 100%.
73% this year. That's 1 goal per game, or 2 if you're Carolina. For a team that's only scored, I say only, as in that they've only scored 7 power play goals themselves, good for 31% on the season, you have to be better on the penalty kill. And I obviously, I mentioned it with Skinner that goal was really nice by Ryan O'Reilly, and it was a good bounce for the St. Louis Blues with less than 5 seconds left to go in the period. But you want to see that PK just tighten it up that little bit more. You see this team at the end of the game, the empty net defense was outstanding. The Blues only had 2 chances and 1 shot at the net that I counted in that flurry of a minute and a half without the goalie. But when we're down on the PK this year, it seems like we're not polished enough yet. So yes, the PK needs a little bit of work. that's something that we got to keep an eye on going forward.
All right, definitely the PK right now sitting 26th in the NHL, so it's definitely needs a little bit of work. If there's one takeaway I'm going to take from this game, and it's going to be the same thing from last game, is that the Oilers, once again, their depth scoring is showing up. You have goals from Jesse Puljujarvi, Zach Hyman, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Not necessarily your bottom six, but it's just everyone's contributing in the top six, which is like Connor McDavid only had 1 point, so he's back on the score sheet. No goals from Draisaitl. I mean, Draisaitl doesn't have assist, obviously, but it's nice to see goal scoring from other players, right?
You're right, and that Fogle, McLeod, Puljujarvi line was buzzing.
100%.
That goal was a hard-working goal by those three gents, and Darnell Nurse in the mix as well. So, and you mentioned it there too. Zach Hyman had a heck of a game. It seems like, and I don't think it's the case. It seems like he's getting better, but I think that's just because he shows that same consistent effort every gosh darn night. And man, is that nice to watch as an Oilers fan, to see that hard work going and paying off for a guy like Zach Hyman.
Here's a question for you, Dan. You've watched a lot of Oilers hockey. You've been through the decade of darkness.
I have.
Is Zach Hyman the best ever free agent signing by the Edmonton Oilers?
Yeah, like, I mean, yes, I would say recency bias obviously included there, and I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Most of our big transactions have been trades in the past. So yeah, I would say Hyman, if he's not if he's not the best free agent pickup ever, he's one of the top 3 or 4. So yeah, it's pretty incredible to see. And again, you know, Edmonton loves a good hardworking player, and Zach Hyman is exactly what you want as an Edmonton Oilers fan.
And hopefully, maybe in a couple of years, it's not Zach Hyman. Hopefully, it's Jack Campbell, right? So
there you go.
Yeah. So thank you, Toronto. So that is your day after reaction from Dan and I. Head to OilersNation.com for more in-depth analysis. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you tomorrow reacting to the Chicago victory. Hopefully.
Thanks, Wallace.